Greetings this evening of your time, as you create time to exist. I will not ask you how you are, for I know you are all perfect. Perfect expression of whatever it is you are exploring in any given moment. Allow me to begin by thanking you all for your willingness to co-create this interaction with me and members of my society this evening of your time. Although we identify ourselves as extraterrestrials, by the way, to us, you are extraterrestrial. We do not in any way insist that anything that we have to say or any way that we are creating our lives is any better than your own. In fact, we recognize, and perhaps you will understand as your own awareness of other forms of life expands, that all methods of expression, all ways of being, are not only completely valid, but completely equal. Therefore, though there are certain things that have worked for us in our society that perhaps will be of use to you, this does not assume that what we are saying is any better than what you are already doing. As I have said, you are all perfect creators, flawless. And therefore, you are already creating a complete reality. So completely do you create your own reality that you actually can experience the apparency of being a separate being, cut off from the rest of all reality, not connected to all the rest of the reality that you contain. To us, this is a very, very focused exploration. The way that your society creates and expresses its consciousness is a very focused expertise. You're all specialists in limitation, specialists in separation, if you will. I do not say this to poke fun at you. I say this with the utmost respect of the, shall I say, courage that it entails to experience yourself in such a way. You have very literally, for the last 25,000 years of your social history, created yourself as a very focused point of view. So focused, once again, that you would seem to be separate from the rest of creation. One of the reasons we are able to communicate with you at this time is you are arising from this cycle of limitation. You are expanding from this fine degree of focus to begin to entertain the notion that perhaps, just perhaps, you actually have more to do with the statement of yourself as a being, with your very reality, than you have heretofore chosen to express and heretofore chosen to understand. What I am saying is that you are expanding both individually and collectively. As you do so, and your awareness expands, your awareness of many other things and many other ways of being, by extension, also expands. So therefore you attract on perhaps what you now perceive to be the edges of your reality, what you sometimes refer to as weird phenomena. Things that couldn't have possibly existed before this particular time. Many, many things obviously exist that you are not aware of individually, and as you expand and grow, you become more aware and marvel and revel at the things that exist. One of the ideas within that awareness, as you begin to explore parts of yourself, or in the way that you create yourself as an expression of parts many times, are the more alien portions of yourself. In certain ways, this is what your ability to now perceive me, although only in this form at this point, represents. Beginning to explore those corners as you create them of your consciousness. Beginning to expand your point of view to encompass more. You are beginning to collectively entertain the notion that there is life other than upon your planet, intelligent life. From my perspective, this is a given, but each and every one of you will make your own decision. I do not insist, by the way, that you believe who I say I am. It is not important for these interactions. I am more concerned with sharing information with you and learning from you as well, and then you can decide if the information is useful to you, and if it is, by all means use it. If not, you will still have learned more about who you are by seeing a sparkling example of who you are not. So either way, you learn. Either way, you grow. Either way, and this applies, by the way, to anything that you attract in your reality, you expand and define yourself still further. Ironically, as you define yourself further and further, you realize how big, so to speak, you really are. For although you now create the apparency that you exist within a reality, so large are you, and I mean this arbitrarily, that in actuality you are coming to find that the reality exists within you. And at least from a physical point of view, this is very large. Therefore, you may understand that as you attract awareness and expand your consciousness and awareness, you begin to recall, to remember, to attract the tools to allow you to accelerate that awareness. Many of the things we discuss with you may seem to fall under the category you sometimes refer to as metaphysical, because we speak of yourselves as creators beyond the physical, metaphysical. But also do we include that ability to create your physical reality as well. And one of, shall I say, the most notable reasons that we interact with you is your readiness and your willingness to begin to understand yourselves as creators that much more. Because we create our own reality 100% consciously, we are some, just some, of the, shall I say, sharers that you attract. Sometimes you will say, when you are ready, the teacher will come. That is one of your sayings. But I will refrain from using the word teacher, for we are all equal sharers. Each of us teach what it is that we have to, in that sense, share, but we also always learn. And remembering that allows you to remain open, allows you to balance the energy of output with the energy of receptivity. So therefore, I learn from you as well. And I thank you for your willingness to allow me to experience your consciousness. For the more I understand about you, the more I understand about me. For to me, you all exist within my consciousness. The paradox is that this is true for each and every person. Perhaps at first that seems confusing, but that will change as you expand your awareness. Each individual contains the entire reality. That sounds like a bunch of nonsense, Elan. All right. That is the nature of paradox. Things that would seem to be mutually exclusive. It must be this, it must be that. When you actually find out that it is both. Not this or that, but both. So you are, in a sense, individuals, each with your own individual point of view, and yet you each contain the entirety of reality. And this will make more sense as you do expand your awareness. Right now, make a note of it. One of the things that we discuss with you is creating your reality consciously. For, as we have mentioned, and as you have heard, and as many of you entertain, you do create your own reality, but you have a definition that when you do so, not according to preference, not according to intention, that you do so unconsciously. The moment you allow yourself to be aware of something, however, it is now a conscious awareness. So if you entertain the notion that you create your reality, even if you entertain that some of it is created by you unconsciously, you can begin to allow the unconscious, quote-unquote, portion of your creation to become conscious, so that your reality is a reflection, is an extension of your intention and your preference, rather than a random event, subject to the whim of your temperamental subconscious mind. That is one way to look at it. But as you allow awareness, unconscious becomes conscious. You call it unconscious knowingness. We call it conscious unknowingness. Same term, slightly different spin. Conscious unknowingness puts it back into your power to change. Unconscious knowingness has you searching behind every nook and cranny, as you say, within your partitioned reality as you create. Now, you are all 100% beings. One of the ways that you express yourself and define yourself is as a collection of parts. Not only body parts, but different parts of your consciousness. Our understanding is that there is one consciousness. You are one whole, 100% being. Therefore, you can express this by being willing to allow things to be conscious. The way, very simply, and this is by way of what you would call slight review from our last interaction and many others, that you now create your own reality is very simple. In any given moment, regardless of what is present in that moment and your excuse or reasons for doing so, you decide who you are. You make a decision. I am this person. Now, either you do so consciously because it is who you desire to be, or you do so because this is telling me this. This is here, so I must be this type of person. But either way, you decide, you make a decision. Consciously creating your own reality will allow you to make that decision with intention, because you say so, with self-commandment, which is one of your abilities to express. But very often you will identify circumstances in a given moment and say, well, I must be this person because look at the mess I've created. That is still a decision. I am this person. So your reality and the perpetuation of the creation of your reality begins with deciding who you are. Once you decide who you are, the next thing you do, perhaps somewhat automatically at this point, is you trust in that decision. Well, I am this person, therefore this person acts this particular way. This person responds this particular way. You trust, you play along with the decision, very literally. And thirdly, you act as though you trust in that decision, in who you have defined yourself to be. And through these actions in your physical life, you create phenomena, circumstances, interactions, actions, and then what you refer to as reactions. We have discussed with you consciously deciding who you prefer to be as the first step in consciously creating your reality. Therefore, perhaps at first, this will involve some of what you call insightful thinking, some of what you call touching base with the things that move you, with the things that excite you, with the things that bring you joy, with integrity. Allowing yourself to identify who you prefer to be allows you to state, allows you to make that decision with focus, with conscious intention. I am this person because this is who I choose to be. And this is what makes me feel like I am the person I wish to be. Deciding consciously who you are, by extension, in order to allow that conscious decision to become your life, then requires the trust that now that you have made the decision, that's who you are, no matter what the reality may appear like. If you maintain that decision, you maintain that awareness of your intention, and you maintain the trust in that decision, you can determine the actions, part 3, which will be consistent with that decision in any given moment. Allow me to entitle this interaction, Opportunity of Alignment. As you make the decision to be the person that you choose to be, if there is some method that you have created in your thinking that runs contrary to that decision, it comes up and allows you to see it. When it comes up and allows you to see it, you have a choice. You can say, well, now that I see this, I will use this as an opportunity to align myself to who I prefer to be, to remind myself to who I choose to be. Or I can allow whatever the circumstance to talk me out of it and to be evidence that, of course, I'm not that person, or this would not exist. Therefore, things that come up initially that would seem to run contrary or would seem to thwart on the surface the decision that you have made as to who you are actually opportunities of alignment. They are your opportunity to realign, to reaffirm who you are in that moment. Therefore, many of the things that you have allowed to talk yourself out of being the person who you desire to be are actually the very tools, the very opportunity to allow you to reestablish that person and show yourself that you really are that person. Or if you are that person, if you make that decision, trusting that decision means not allowing anything to talk you out of it. If you trust the decision, nothing can talk you out of it. I am this person. So regardless of this circumstance in my life that seems to run contrary to the thing that I desire, I'm still this person. And I will interact with that circumstance as this person, rather than allowing it to talk me out of who I have chosen to be. Either way, you will make a decision, trust that decision, and act on the circumstance. But